Yeah.
Oh,
Snap your neck.
Better fall in line.
Yeah. There's another one. There's another one with dogs.
I see him. Oh,
Dogs.
there's 3 of them. Good God.
Run, run.
In the previous video, I talked about a YouTuber called PopoMedic. I've been subscribed to PopoMedic for some time, and I gotta be honest, the dude is very, very entertaining, extremely entertaining. And actually, let me check. Are we subscribed on the? No, we're not on the main channel.
Ooh.
On my personal one, I am. You know, I know that 100% because he's on my feed all the time. But PopoMedic is a creator who talks about true crime situations, and basically through the power of masterful editing, atmosphere, and just great breakdowns of the situation, easily digestible. It's very it's some of the best videos on YouTube.
Sick. I've never listened to him before. Never seen his videos. So.
Yeah, and PopoMedic is someone that I as a creator, I just can't express enough. Just how grateful I am to have creators like him. Also Mr. Ballin and just
Mr. Ballin, no pun intended, straight killing it right now. Dude.
Oh, yes.
He just got signed by Amazon for his podcast.
That is awesome.
And got put up for the same award that Mr. Beast got put up for content creator of the year or something like that.
Hey, and that's good. Ballin deserves it, man. He's done amazing work, and honestly, I'm glad that creators like him are getting recognized, and I'm hoping that creators like PopoMedic get more recognized by YouTube on a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
But the video that we're going to be talking about today is a video that is very near and dear to my my mental ethos. I remember hearing about this when I was younger, and just thinking to myself, there is no way that actually happened, but it did.
Yeah, this shit's real.
Yes. The KILLDOZER incident. The KILLDOZER, I don't know why they call it a rampage, because nobody died.
The guy inside the KILLDOZER died.
Nobody died from the actions of him other than himself.
Right.
So the KILLDOZER caused millions and millions of dollars of damage, and it was all because of an incident where a bunch of big name players in this town, where the operator of the KILLDOZER moved to, and basically they pressured him over the span of 10 years into signing over his property for, very minute amount, and all he wanted to do was live a peaceful life after retiring from his job in the military.
There's some mental health stuff going on here.
There is
also.
as well. I mean, he I guarantee you, his mental stability was not 100% when he moved there, but it was only made worse by the amount of pressure that was put on him by the city. And,
of course,
and the township, and the big town and the big name proprietors in the town that were trying to make that concrete factory.
Right.
And I understand that someone wants to run an industry, but that doesn't mean they just get to bull charge and bull true their way through anyone that's in their way simply because, I'm big enough and I'm powerful enough and I'm going to do it just because I feel like it. It's
right.
That's not right. And I'm in no means advocating for the actions of what this man did.
That's the shit thing I see about a lot of things about this situation is people putting this big hero badge on the guy.
No. It was an extraordinary situation that this whole thing came to be. And I can't help but just be blown away by the fact that it actually happened.
It's like the saltiest moment of gaming, but in real life times a million.
Yes. But in terms of gaming, I could someone going ape shit and going to someone's house, doxing someone and going to their house and cussing them out in real life. That's one thing.
That's over the line, even.
That's over the line.
This guy takes the line and makes it like a fucking distance leap
Yes.
in the Olympics or something, and just like jumps out of the fucking sand pit over into the stands, like, and teabags somebody and urinates all over the stands.
Yes, that is equivalent to what this guy did.
It's insane.
And Popa made a video about it, talking about the Killdozer incident of 2004. I can understand. Actually, you know what? For namesake wise, I can understand why he calls it the Rampage of 2004, because Rampage is a lot more enticing than incident.
Yes.
Yeah, Rampage is a very like visceral word that it's a hook, and
Twisted Metal in real life.
Yes. Oh yes, I can agree with that 100%.
You know?
Anyway, let's go ahead and hop into this. This is Popa Medic with the Killdozer Rampage of 2004. Let's go.
Friday, June 4th, 2004. An Air Force veteran, settling down in the small town of Granby, Colorado, quickly found himself at his breaking point after losing a decade-long legal battle to a powerful family dynasty who took his land and ran his muffler shop out of business. To enact revenge, the welder fortified a bulldozer into a homemade tank and set out to destroy the small town that took everything from him, resulting in a response from the Army National Guard and an Apache helicopter.
You had to take me on en masse. Well, I'm going to take you on by myself.
In 1992, an auction was held in the small town of Granby, Colorado, in which a foreclosed 2-acre property was to be sold to individual bidders, and Cody Dochev, a powerful Colorado businessman, saw an opportunity to expand some of his business, with plans to buy and build a state-of-the-art concrete plant for his company, Mountain Park Concrete. But to Dochev's surprise, there was another man who had his eye on the foreclosed property, Air Force veteran and Granby newcomer Marvin Heemeyer, who outbid Dochev and secured the 2-acre property for $42,000 to build a muffler shop and expand his welding business. A frustrated Dochev confronted Marv and advised him that the town of Granby doesn't need another car garage, to which Marv advised Dochev that the property was his for $60,000, but Dochev declined his offer and refused to give in to the blue-collar outsider. Marv left the auction with no idea what was to come. The outsider had inadvertently derailed the plans of one of Granby's most prominent and powerful families, and the Dochevs were sure to never let him forget. By the late summer of 1992, Marvin Heemeyer settled in to his new hometown of Granby. He renovated the 2-acre property and built a large warehouse to serve as his body shop. And shortly after, Mountain View Mufflers was officially opened for business. His neighbors at Mountain Park Concrete weren't too pleased, among them Cody Dochev. And in the months to follow, the Dochev secured a loan and offered Marv $250,000 for the 2-acre property. But Marv reportedly raised the price to $375,000 and again to $1 million, further agitating the Dochevs.
Well, honestly, he didn't want to sell. He never wanted to sell. He was content with just living in this town for the rest of his life and fixing cars and mufflers.
He was pricing himself out of business with them.
Yes.
That's what he was doing. If you don't want to do business with somebody, you just give them such a outrageous price that they walk away from it and leave you alone.
Yeah.
Usually they leave you alone.
But if you are working against a very powerful family who has a lot of sway, especially in terms of like policy making and politics, then you're gonna wind up having some trouble. And that's
usually
yeah. It's like in our hometown, it's like anything that the Barnett family wants to do, they basically get to do, and that's just how it is.
A few weeks later, Marv received a letter from the town of Granby informing him that his property sewage wasn't up to code. He assumed the problem wouldn't take much work and inquired on how and where to hook up his sewage lines. But to his surprise, the lines were located nearly 500 feet from his property, and with him being responsible for the materials, construction, and months of labor, Marv was shit out of luck with a $100,000 estimate just to connect his sewage. And to add even more red tape, Marv's property didn't even have a maintenance easement, and because the easement would traverse property lines, Marv had to seek the approval of his neighbors over at Mountain Park Concrete, directly from Gus Harris and Cody Dochev.
That is like the crux of the whole thing. Is like, oh, in order for me to run sewage, I actually have to come onto your property and connect in to the county sewage on your property. Is that okay? what do you think they're going to fucking
Get
say?
fucked.
Yeah, exactly. And by that, the city can basically just levy however many fines they want onto somebody because of something being not up to code.
Marv went straight to the board of the sewer district, run by another Granby family dynasty, Ron Thompson, a friend of Docheff's and brother of Granby Mayor Dick Thompson. And like Docheff, Ron Thompson wasn't too keen on outsiders like Marv. Thompson gave him an ultimatum, $90,000 to get his sewage ordeal fixed and up to code, or remain unconnected and face the consequences. Left with no choice, Marv refrained from connecting his sewage with hopes of finding a cheaper alternative in the future. And by November of that year, Marv returned to the sewage board and demanded easement, and settled a deal with Gus Harris to traverse his property at $20,000 per acre. But in the weeks to follow, Gus Harris ghosted Marv and failed to honor his word, forcing Marv's sewage to remain unconnected for several months. And the months became years, and by 1998, the Docheffs decided to move forward with their construction plans of a massive indoor concrete plant. Marv resisted, but wanted to maintain a cordial relationship with the Docheff, but he was inevitably forced to act, as the Docheffs intended on building in the southwest portion of Marv's property, where Marv had already planned on building a large parking lot for his customers. The Docheffs applied for and received a bizarre location-specific zoning permit that exempts certain plots of land from zoning laws if the purpose of rezoning falls into specific categories. And by the time he figured it all out, Marv was well past the 30-day deadline to appeal the decision. Construction vehicles and operations blocked off the only road to the muffler shop, and Marv began to lose customers. Out of desperation, Marv purchased a Komatsu bulldozer to make his own road for his customers, but he was shut down by Town Hall. And by November of 2002, a judgment was made against Marv for failing to connect his sewer line. The court ordered that the muffler shop remain closed, and with the Docheff denying easement, Marv was found in violation and was fined $100 a day until he connected his sewage. On November 17th of 2003, Marv wrote a check for the amount of $3,351, which he addressed to the Cowards and Liars Department after having felt completely violated by the Docheffs and their shady political dealings. He lawyered up and took the town of Granby to court, but failed yet again and was punished for it, as the town turned around and reimposed additional fines of up to $1,000 for leaving abandoned vehicles on the rezoned property. And to add fuel to the fire, a local Granby newspaper wrote an editorial piece speaking poorly of Marv interfering with the Docheff's business, as if Marv was the bad guy. He was now stuck in a situation he had no way out of. A useless property, zero income, and his property and belongings were auctioned off. His direction and hopes for the future were, in his mind, stolen. What once was a dream became a nightmare. He truly believed that the town of Granby maliciously conspired against him, because the town of Granby perceived to have conspired against him. And that's what officials in Granby will never understand, whether or not they had malicious intent. If you carry the tools to break a man and present yourself as the villain, perception is reality. And in April of 2004, in Marv Heemeyer's reality, revenge trumped forgiveness, as he fortified half-inch steel plates insulated with concrete on the bulldozer.
So, part of me doesn't, I could never fathom doing something like this and willfully looking to destroy something, but at the same time, I'm not this guy, and I've never been through the same thing that he's gone through.
No.
And I would like to think myself as a pretty reasonable and rational kind of guy. But at the same time, given every human being has their breaking point where they stop, where logic just stops, and they get an idea in their head of how to solve a problem. And so for some people, it's easier to reach that point than others. I have seen people at the very sign of trouble, they lose their shit.
Fly off the handle.
Yeah, they go absolutely ape shit. Scorched earth. Fuck everything, burn everything down. And then I've witnessed people who have had eternal patience, eternal, fortitude, and just stick through it years and years and years. And eventually, sometimes, things work out in their favor.
Yeah, sometimes.
Things do work out in their favor, and, they get their justice. But with this guy, having it over a span of over 10 years and just being denied and denied and denied and denied, like, very slowly that starts to chip away.
And you have to know, like, the thing about it is you have to know that there's only so much that you can take. And the best outcome for yourself is going to be maybe suffer a loss and move on to the next day.
Yes.
Rather than what we're about to see take place here. You got to know when the win is to get away from the situation and start somewhere new.
Yes.
Or the win is to not be the financial victor, but to know that you did everything you were supposed to and the fucked up system is what screwed up, not you, and you can move on peacefully. I mean, there's plenty of situations where, you know, you can see somebody who does not deserve it getting dirt kicked in their face when they're already down.
Yes.
And they don't make this decision.
No. And
triumph somewhere else because they fucking move on, let it go, realize their self-worth.
It's persistence, like full-on persistence of like one's own dream and one's life.
Yeah.
Whereas this is right here, like the highest form of scorched earth I've ever witnessed.
Ever. Yeah.
Like in terms of just, holy shit. Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's get on to it.
I have had a perfect life up until 1999 when I found out what the Thompsons had done to me in 92. And I am not going to take it. And I have to use the resources that I have, the wherewithal that I have, the ability that I have, the knowledge that I have to make this right. I am not walking away from it. Maybe I'm being a coward by doing what I'm doing. Because without a doubt, I'm doing what you have done. I'm lying. I'm conspiring. I'm keeping things secret. And it's going to happen. If I would have been married, had a family, you know, things may have gone different.
But that's not what happened.
But God built me for this job. You had to take me on en masse. Well, I'm going to take you on by myself.
The ultimate table flip.
Yeah. The KILLDOZER. Jesus.
Good morning, Colorado.
It's great to get started with you.
Good Morning Colorado starts your day with what you need. Updating.
Can you take us through it chronologically so people get a sense? I know it all started about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Where did he begin? Do you know?
I remember seeing this footage when it was about a few days after it happened. Mm-hmm. And I just thought to myself, what? Like, it did, like, this thing is like, how? How did someone get to that? I could never
Pure
have
piss and
imagined.
vinegar, dude.
Yeah. I could have never imagined it as a kid.
No.
Now as an adult, it's just like,
look,
damn.
I do want to say one thing. If I had to criticize this guy in any essence, this is when it's appropriate to have truck nuts on your vehicle. All right? If there's ever a time, if you feel like you got some big dually, 4 tires on each fucking tire, like big ass jacked up truck, no. That's not when you need truck nuts.
No.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is when you need to put truck nuts on your vehicle.
If anything, if he would have had those little chrome danglers hanging on the back of that thing, I would have respected him just a little bit more. Just a little, because that's just that proper right there, man. Damn. Anyway.
Marv took the dozer straight through the Mountain Park concrete plant. His arch nemesis Cody Dochev tried to stop the onslaught by ramming Marv's Killdozer with a wheel tractor scraper. But retreated once Marv opened fire through one of 3 gun ports installed on the Killdozer. Once the concrete plant was successfully demolished, he moved on to Town Hall. Next, he destroyed the Granby newspaper office that slandered his name. Police responded to the chaos and had no means to stop the dozer. Their futile attempts to open fire and pierce the fortified shell proved useless.
Police couldn't stop the slow-moving bulldozer, which was armored with heavy iron plates welded in place of windows.
Using cameras installed on the top of the shell.
I saw this here and I thought to myself, how in the fuck did someone that, like, this is all these monitors, all this right here, just wow. Just the ingenuity is just. This is a doomsday vehicle, man.
And me, like, at 12 years old, trying to figure out how to plug up my fucking, trying to plug up my PlayStation.
Yeah, and look,
to the right.
He actually had like the AV ports on this plugged in here. It's just guarantee you that's like a little like backup camera or something that he had mounted to the front of this thing. And right there's another one. You know, it's like a security camera system. Like that's
shit's insane.
It is.
Marv was able to maneuver and return fire toward police. Officer Glenn Traynor of the Granby Police Department rushed the Killdozer and climbed atop the shell in an attempt to find an opening, but to his surprise, the entire shell was welded shut as one fixed piece. Marv Heemeyer had no way out.
It was a sarcophagus. He basically created a steel sarcophagus and lowered it onto himself inside. He knew that was it.
Purposefully lowered the shell over himself to commit to his plans, sealing himself inside. Then Colorado State Governor Bill Owens requested the National Guard to dispatch an Apache attack helicopter, as well as troops equipped with Javelin anti-tank missiles.
He is just headed westbound again. This is tape. He is again headed westbound into the downtown area. Right there, may have taken out a radiator he doesn't stop for.
And while striking a hardware store, the Killdozer turtled between the foundation and the basement, leaving the dozer stuck. And after 2 hours of pure carnage, a SWAT team approached the dozer and reported hearing the sound of a single gunshot from within, as Marvin Heemeyer, with no way out and no means to free the dozer, took his life. After hours of trial and error, authorities were able to break open the shell using an oxyacetylene cutting torch and recovered Marvin Heemeyer's body at approximately 2 a.m. The Killdozer was demoed, and its components were destroyed and dispersed between several junkyards. The Rampage caused an estimated $7 million in property damage, and nobody was killed or injured during the incident, apart from Marvin Heemeyer. Leading up to the incident, Marv gave away all of his financial assets to his friends and family, and left various notes behind for his friends and his enemies. In the end, it was perceived that Marv was sabotaging Dochev's business plans, and not the other way around. And no matter how you look at it, perception is reality.
Yeah, true. You, Granby, have got to learn to listen. Can you hear me now? Damn. So...
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more mini documentaries in the works, and you don't want to miss them. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Jesus.
Damn.
Just another level, man. Another level of just desperation and anger.
Like I said, you know, Salt. You've never seen Salt like this.
No.
And it's way beyond a Smash Brothers tournament where somebody spikes the controller on the ground.
Yeah.
This man went and demolished the whole damn concrete factory.
Yeah.
Went to town hall.
Destroyed town hall.
Went to the newspaper.
Yeah.
And said, put some respect on my name.
Basically. And I remember like people talking about him, and he's sort of become an internet legend. I know there's people out there who idolize the Killdozer and everything, which people are going to do that. People idolize a bunch of shit.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I would way rather people be all like on the side of this kind of a situation rather than the Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Dahmer, fucking all that shit.
That's, again, the glorification and like the near deification of those psychopaths is sickening.
Yeah, it's
Whereas
fucked up.
This guy here, yeah, he committed an act that he did fire at police officers and he did fire at the public, but at the same time, I could see a potential understanding.
You can kind of see his side of the story.
Yes.
And just be like, I get why you're mad. Yes. I don't get why you think this is the answer.
That's my thing too. Is like,
I get why you're mad. Like, had he not done that, and had he just like went to jail for taking a shit on the doorstep of city council, okay,
yeah,
I totally get that. Like, but whenever you're like, you people have done me wrong, my only answer now is to
take everything away from y'all,
to end my own shit.
Yeah,
it's just like, no, that's not the answer.
Now you see, if he would have if he wouldn't have had guns and he wouldn't have fired at police or anything like that, and he would have just taken the Killdozer and just rammed it through their establishments, town hall, and then all that, and then afterwards he would, after he was done doing what he was doing, and he would have just sat there in the middle of the road, and he had like a loudspeaker on the outside and be like, I'm done. I've done what I've set out to do. I give up. I give myself up to be arrested. And then basically just turns off the Killdozer and just waits for them to get him out. Like, if he would have done that, I think this guy would have been like a more folklore legend than he already is.
Yeah.
And I think the support would have been a lot more than what it is. Because his intentions, even though he didn't kill anybody, other than himself, he did, he had the weapons there and had the intention to potentially kill somebody if they got in his way.
At the same time, it's just like, don't fuck with people. Why go out of your way to try and ruin someone's life? Like, if they haven't done anything, okay, the R. Kelly situation, totally jacked up. Yeah. Warren Jeffs, that guy. Yes. Like, there's plenty of people out there who really deserve to be fucked over.
Yes.
And it's okay, I think, to shake your fist and throw your middle fingers up at people like that. But if you are in a position of power and you know that you have got to slight somebody or you've got to fuck somebody over just to further your gains, I mean, but then there's the paradox of kind of like, to get into positions of power, you have to be a person who's willing to do those types of things to people.
And you see, I can see how a lot of people get to those positions. And for me, if a person gets to that position doing shit like that, I don't want anything to do with them.
No.
If a person gets to where they, for instance, Mark Cuban started up his business for around $8,000.
Right.
He literally started in his college dorm, making it to where you could hear broadcasts on the internet and everything.
Right.
And he developed that with people, and it sold for billions of dollars, and that's how he made his big money, and he's basically been an investor ever since. People like that, I don't have a problem with. People who work their asses off to get to the positions that they are in and haven't blatantly gone out of their way to try and screw somebody over. I was like, I know the whole Mark Zuckerberg and Eduardo Saverin, him trying to screw Eduardo Saverin out when Saverin was the one who initially invested in Facebook in the first place. If it weren't for Saverin, he probably would have gone to someone else and probably would have been successful, but he didn't. He went to Saverin. Savarin was the one who gave him the money for the liftoff, and thus we have Facebook. And
or construction people who promise all of these deals and let people do all this work and then refuse to pay them. I'm not going to mention any name, because if I mention a certain name, then that's automatically going to spin to where this isn't true. But it's totally true that there's a very prominent person in America who has multiple contracts where he owes tons of people money for work that they did, and he just flat out refuses to pay them and then says, what are you going to do about it?
Yes. And he thinks that because he is in such a high position of power, he doesn't have to worry about it.
Well, has been operating under that for years, even before, things got to such a big public thing, just contracting all these construction companies to do work and then be like, oh, well, we don't have the money to pay you. Sorry.
And guess what? It's come out of your pocket, and thus your construction business that you built up by your, with you and your family is now bankrupt.
Yeah, sorry.
Congratulations, you played yourself, or congratulations, you got played.
Right.
It's a.
You shouldn't do people that way.
No,
man.
You shouldn't, and anyone who does deserves a swift, kick straight to the teeth,
or the.
Yeah.
Or both, whatever.
Yeah, either or. I honestly just a swift kick, like a Joe Rogan sidekick, like one of those, spin. Have you seen him do those?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would happily have him do one of those to that person.
I'd be like, bro, please, Taekwondo don't.
Hey. So anyway, everybody, this was Popo Medic with the KILLDOZER Rampage of 2004. Be sure to check him out. Be sure to check out all the other videos he has on his channel. He has a massive assortment. I definitely recommend y'all check him out. So if you want to see more from Popo Medic, click his name in the title of the video. If you want to see more from They Call Me Hat Guy, be sure to check him out. I'll leave a link to his stuff in the description and everything. And if you want to see more from us, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. Until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Chad.
Take care, everybody.